Okay, next topic is Introduction to Computer Science 597, project number 2. It is scheduled by Dr. Ning Chen, but again, with the same reason, he could not attend today. So I will introduce this class. And probably it's possible for me to teach this course instead of Dr. Chen. So I think it's very natural to introduce this course to you today. So we have two project courses titled by 597. First one is offered in the last summer, and the next one will be offered in the last semester you have. So it is project 2. In the project 1, you should produce a proposal of your graded project. So in the proposal, you will propose what you like to do for your graded project. So I believe you have a approved proposal at this point. If you have not successfully complete the first course, you should complete this as soon as possible, because there is a sequence in these two courses. If you cannot successfully complete first one, you cannot take a second one. So you should complete the first one first. And then in the second project course, which is offered in the summer, next spring, and then you will really implement your idea proposed in the proposal. Okay. And then you may have a question, I changed my mind. The last few weeks, I found my proposal was not good to do, so I like to change it. That's possible too. If you have that kind of situation, you should contact to the previous instructor and then ask the review to your previous proposal. But it will not change your grade at all. Once the grade is given to you, grade is fixed. But you can change your proposal for the practical purpose. Okay? So you should have, when you start this second project course, you should have a approved proposal. So approved proposal, it means you should get A or B at least for the first project course. If you have a C, which means your proposal was not properly approved. So you should improve your proposal before you start a new project, okay? And get the approval first. Any questions for this part? Is it clear how two courses are related and what you have to do? Okay? So here we like to know, you know by yourself how to apply what you learned from this MSE program to the real-world problem solution. So you should be able to solve real-world problem. So I personally don't recommend to do group project. Okay, but I follow conventions always rather than my personal opinion. So in the MSE, we accept any the proposal approved by previous instructor. Okay, so if your previous proposal was approved for the group project, I will admit it. So you don't need to worry about it. Okay, that's fine. But we recommend you do individual project. We like you become the master of the software engineering, right? So through this group, the project course, you should demonstrate your capability, okay, to become a master in software engineering. So you should be able to find the problem and solve the problem in software engineering area. So through the individual project, you can practice this by yourself. Okay, so the studying material, studying textbook, taking exam is not more important than doing the project. That's my belief. So when I was student also, I learned a lot when I did a homework assignment than just reading the book or taking the exam. Okay? So you should be able to really apply these principles to the real problem, right? So I like you do everything individually, independently, okay? So prerequisite of this course is a prior approval of the proposal. So if you are not ready, you should contact the previous instructor and solve this problem to get approval for the previous course. And if you don't have any good contact with the previous instructor, you can always send this request to the MSE coordinator, who is me right now currently. So you can contact me and I can solve the problem, or I can resolve all the issues. So don't worry, okay? And by default, your advisor for the graded project will be the instructor of the second project course, and your previous instructor will become a reviewer of your graded project. So in the cover page, you need to fit in, has some lines to fit in the advisor and the reviewer. So in the advisor, you fit in the current instructor of the second project course, and you fit in the reviewer as your previous instructor who approved your project proposal, okay? And again, if you have any questions or issues to do this kind of things, again, send me email to ask to help to the coordinator. Okay, so we can find out how to resolve the issue always. Okay, and these are the required books, required materials you have to read. These are available freely through the computer science website. So first one is computer science graded handbook. It describes general information for the graded activities. And the second book is MSE program handbook. It describes more specifically related to the MSE program than the general computer science program. And the third one you should read is Computer Science Master's Project and the Thesis Guideline. So especially here, you have to know the table of contents and the report cover page. So formality is very important to do project. So when you submit your report, you should have the formal cover page, okay? And you should have a certain table of contents minimally suggested in this guideline. So guideline tells you the different types of table of contents for the research-oriented project and the development-oriented project. So based on that, based on your property of your work, and then follow this table of contents. You don't need to follow exactly the same with this table of contents suggested there, but you should have minimum contents as suggested there. You can have more than that, but you cannot have less than that, okay? So this is very important to read review, okay? So course activities for this second project include this. Preparation. You need to find out your approved proposal. Okay, so the work will be graded to find how much you do your graded project as you promised in the approved proposal. So you should follow what you promised in your proposal you built before. Again, if you find out something is wrong in your proposal and you don't like your proposal you built before, and then again you have always a chance to revise it, okay, to have another things you like to do really. But again, if you do that kind of things, probably it may delay your work, right? So it may delay your graduation as well. So be careful to do this, but still you have a chance to change your proposal. Okay? And again, your work must follow the activities and the work products you promised in your proposal. Okay? Yes, you have a question?
Do work products include the features that we described in like our development project? So I have a piece of software that I want to develop, and it describes a set of features that I want.
Yes.
So I have to.
So I grade in this way. I will look at your proposal, and I will check your activities, and I will check your work products, and then I will grade your final project report based on this proposal. So if it is included in your proposal, you should have it in your final report. If you didn't include it in your proposal, you don't need to have it. But in the requirement analysis, usually most of the developed project should have that kind of descriptions for the features.
Okay.
So it is very automatic things.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
Yes.
Is there some sort of checkpoints involved in this process?
Yes.
Maybe getting ahead of myself.
Yes, that's okay. Good question. So we will have the second activity for the midterm project report. So you have to write a midterm report, and then you need to submit it. So midterm report must have at least this cover page. The required cover page I explained before. Here, look at this one and find out the required cover page. And then there are some phrase, paragraph, you need to change it from the computer science to the Master of Software Engineering. That kind of the new, the revised cover page will be provided on the web page at that time. So don't worry about it. But don't forget to have this cover page. And you need to fit in all contents in the cover page, okay? And the table of contents, you should show all the table of contents you will have for the final report, okay? And you don't need to fit in everything, every sections, every chapters there, but you should have a minimal writing for each sections, each chapter, so that the instructor can convince, these students may be able to complete the project. Okay, so you should give some kind of evidence there to show something, to write something there, okay, to convince your instructor you can finish really. And if you have if you need help for writing, you can use a writing center, which is located at the Pollock Library North first floor. So there is a website. You can make an appointment in advance, so they can allow you to make appointment every week. So they may not allow you meet every day, but at least one time per week. So it's good idea to meet them from now, or at least the beginning of the spring semester. So you'd better go there frequently to learn how to write better your idea. Okay? They may not proofread every line of your report, okay? But they will guide how to improve your writing. So once you learn it, and then you can improve your writing in the future. So I learned a lot from this consulting with this writing center when I was a student as well. So they are expert in the technical writing, so they give many good tips. So I recommend you visit there and get help from them. Yes?
Is the consulting in person only?
Yes, in person, and they have different formats, probably different years, or different schools also have different styles. So go to this web page and find out what kind of services they provide. There is that possibility to make an appointment in advance, or also they have some walk-in meeting as well. So there are different styles of a meeting they provide, so you need to find out there. Okay? Yes.
So I'm entirely remote. Like, is there any like a support for remote people? Like for people who can visit the writing center?
Who can,
For people, is there any support for people who cannot visit the writing center?
is there any support?
Yeah.
Means
Like
financial support or human support?
For the report, how to write it.
So you can get help. Yeah, probably she may know better than me. She is a current graduate semester. So
I graduated already. I just heard Writing Center, and I'm like, hey, I used to work there. So just to elaborate a little bit more on the Writing Center, currently they do not offer online appointments, so it's all just in.
oh really?
Yeah. And the way it works is they're not going to sit down and proofread your work, so it's really a collaborative effort. So you sit down and talk about higher level issues like structure, clarity, stuff like that. If you want something more in the nitty-gritty, like maybe grammar and stuff like that, or if you want online services, then our graduate studies office actually does have some writing specialists in there, and they do offer online services. So you can go to the graduate studies office website, look for the writing specialist. I think you can make appointments online through their website.
Okay, so as she mentioned, thank you, thanks, Kami. So as she mentioned, it is changing, their policy is changing and the styles are changing, so you need to contact them at that time and learn how it works. Okay, thank you. Okay, so you should have at minimum, you should have these contents. You don't need to fit in everything, but you should fit in something to convince instructor you can finish this. And then you will submit the final report, project report. And again, cover page and the table of contents are very important. Okay? And the project is graded by letter A, B, C, D. So if it is not satisfiable, you may get lower grade. If it is satisfied, you will have a higher grade. Okay, but you should have at least cover page and the formality in your report, so it is acceptable. Otherwise, it is not acceptable to grade. Then you will have a incomplete or research in progress. If you cannot complete this soon, you will get F then.
You're talking about the midterm project?
In the midterm project,
Or you're talking about?
midterm project report will be graded partially for the entire course. So you don't need to worry about much, but for the final project report, if you cannot complete properly, then you will not get the letter grade properly. So if you have anything urgent things, and if you have any chance to, you cannot complete the project on time, then you may ask instructor to extend the work. Then it delays your graduation, but it is possible to do. Oh, your question.
What are some typical artifacts and work products that students turn in that constitute the report?
Okay, good question. First of all, you should have work products you promised in your proposal. So if you remember, if you remind your proposal, table of contents include work products. So under the title of work products, you should list all the work products you will produce. So in the final project, you should produce that work products you promised in your proposal. That's the principle. And in general, work product usually you might already listed there include the requirement analysis and the designing and the coding and the testing contents. If you are working project for the development work. If you do the project more research-oriented work, probably you may not have a requirement analysis or designing. You may have some survey of existing work, and you may have a comparative study, and you may produce some kind of new idea to improve the existing methodologies or principles. Okay, so it depends on, depending on your types of project, development-oriented project or research-oriented project, contents can be different. So in the development project, definitely you should have a coding and the testing result, right? So that's why it is development project. If you don't do it, it is not development project. In the research project, some research project may not require any coding or testing at all because it's a research project, but it requires new idea. You need to suggest something newly, okay, beyond the existing theories published. So it depends on the types of project you proposed before. But right now, today, once we have this session, and then at home you think, oh, I made a mistake last time. I like to change it. Don't worry, you can change it. Okay? So then contact immediately your previous instructor and ask, I like to change the proposal. Okay? And then if instructor is not available, again, ask the program coordinator, okay, to help. So I can help you how to change your proposal. And the proposal must be kept in the department as well, so it should be formal. We cannot just simply change your mind and change your project. We should keep document all things. Okay? Yes?
If you're doing development project, do you expect just a code turn in, or what do you expect to deploy the site?
I'm sorry, I missed it. So if you would like to do the development project?
Yeah. Do you just expect us to turn in the code, or would you want us to deploy?
Oh, what kind of thing you have to submit? Okay. Again, as you promised last time in your proposal, so you have to produce the exact contents with the exact contents you promised last time in the proposal. Okay. But development project usually include the coding and testing. Then you should have a code. So you should provide a code, source code and executable code. So it can be talked with your instructor, the second project course. So you can ask him or her. Okay, more detail. But definitely you should have it. Even though they say, oh, you don't need to submit the source code, but you still need to really build a program, and you should have some kind of demonstration to learn your system, to show source code and to compile and to learn system. So you should prove you really did it. Okay?
So if the project was software engineering oriented and the work products that were promised were to provide an SRS, vision and scope, an architectural design, but it was not oriented for development, is that okay?
Okay, so for the development project, usually you start with the requirement analysis and the specification of these requirements and the architectural designing and the detailed design and the coding and the testing, right? So we like to see all these steps you go through. But you may emphasize on more design, or you may emphasize on more coding, or you may emphasize on more testing. So it depends on the project, type of project you defined in your proposal. Okay? So if you say, oh, I like to more focus on the architectural design rather than coding itself, then you can do it. You don't need to have all the detailed code for that, because we more emphasize on the architectural level design. Okay? In that case, your architectural design documents should be have more contents than you did in your past course, in the architectural design course, right? So we expect you have more professional stuffs there in your project.
Okay.
And if you emphasize on the implementation itself, you may have a less level of the architectural design, less design work, but you can more focus on coding itself. So it depends on the different types of project. Okay, so if your project is not development project, so you don't emphasize on requirement analysis, you don't emphasize on designing, you don't emphasize on coding, then what else do you like to do? Okay? Read existing materials published in the computer science area and the software engineering area, and have some kind of a study, okay? So which one is good, which one is bad, for the particular topic, okay? Like the testing method. And then read the materials related to the testing, and then find out which one is better, and which one is good, which one has advantage and disadvantage, and compare them. And then you may suggest, okay, why don't we test the software in this way? So web development testing should be done in this way, because existing testing for the web the development is not enough to test effectively. So you may suggest some new idea there. So in that case, you may have some coding, you may not have coding. You can just suggest ideas. So it's up to the project. So it can be approved by your instructor. Okay? So, but you already have a project proposal already, so I recommend you complete your project as you promised in the previous course, and finish your master's degree on time. If you like to do more than that, do it after graduation. Don't delay your graduation to do that. Okay? It's more the wise to complete your degree as soon as possible. Okay? So don't try to change it dramatically, even though you find out something's wrong at this point. You will finish your project as you promised in the last project course. Finish it first, and then do something great work after you graduate. Okay? So it will save your time.
So, if let's say by the end of this semester or at the beginning of the next semester, you realize that the word promise is too much, but you don't want to change the project, can you change how much deliverables you're going to provide?
Okay. If you find out, or you promise too much or too less, and I like to change my proposal again, contact your previous instructor and ask him, is it still approved? Okay. Is it possible to approve this idea because of this? So you give reason, and you give the updated version, and then he may or he may not approve it.
Okay.
And by convention, the new instructor for the next project course will conventionally we accept the decision made by previous instructor. Okay, as is, as long as you got A and B. If you got C last time, probably it is a little bit serious here. Right. So in that case, you should get the approval process more seriously.
Is it possible to have the same professor on both?
I think, is it possible to have the same instructor? We cannot promise it. It goes by the, depending on the resource. So we cannot promise that kind of things.
No, but what if that happens? It means you can have them, or you need to change?
This is possible, what I'm saying right now. For example, if I teach this course, and then you think, oh, Dr. Lee is better to advise this project for me, and then you can ask personally, Dr. Liu, would you be my advisor? Okay? And then if he accept, and then I will be formal instructor for the course, but I will respect his opinion on your particular project. Okay. That's possible. Okay? But we cannot promise anything at this point. It goes by individual instructors. It goes by individual corporate to admit. They may refuse to advise. And then you cannot. You have no choice. Okay.
What would be the purpose of providing the source code of the program?
Okay, usually not many instructors ask you to provide the source code itself. Whenever you ask a source code, probably we like to see really you did it. That's only the reason. We do not want to steal your work, okay? So in many cases, I will ask you to show your source code and to compile and to run it, and you have to video capture as is, and then, I don't need to get your source code, but I should be able to see your code is really working. So, but it depends on the different instructor.
Yeah.
So I cannot promise anything.
But typically, you do a demo.
Yeah, demonstration.
Source code, like Dr. Joe mentioned, you compile, show it work. So you have to do a demo.
Okay.
You don't have to be like a commercially fully functional. No.
You don't need to have it.
You have to.
So have a simple functions to meet the minimum requirements for the project, and then you can make better to sell later. So just like open source. If you use open source, you should release your source in open too. But they don't release the old essence. They just release a part of the work. But when they really sell it, they will cultivate better. Okay. Any other questions?
You did mention that it's not, no, it's not, what is, well, we can partner up with someone for the final project. It's not required, but it's not.
Doesn't have to be,
Doesn't have to
when you
be.
approved it, you have
But
like a.
you can approve it.
If you already approve mostly you have already approved the proposal, right?
Yeah.
So in the preparation, you should submit that approved proposal. So you have to upload it. So we will store it, okay? And so we will grade based on your proposal.
And
Is that answer to your question?
Yes, what I thought was that we have the title page, and when you provide it, there's a box for saying.
This title page is proposal title page. This title page is final report cover page. So cover page is different.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Still confused there.
So in the proposal cover page, you got the signature from or approved by email by your previous instructor.
Okay.
Okay? You should have a new cover page for the final project. So cover page contents are different. So you will see later.
And is it possible to work with another student that is in the actual class, not in the online? That is actually present, is coming to the masters in the school? Is not in the online program?
You mean the cover page, does cover page have online masters? We will not have any online. There is
What I mean is if I want to partner up with another student who actually comes to the school and is in a master's program, but she's coming to classes here. She's not in the online master's program, but she's also doing a master's in software engineering in here.
I'm sorry, I don't fully understand your question.
Doing a group project?
No, for this project, because
You have to do this, by the way, this project, I think by university requirement, is an individual project.
yeah, that was my understanding. But right now, I think you mentioned that you can partner up with someone if we want to.
No, but if you look at least in all my classes, remember, you all come up with an individual
project.
proposal.
Okay, then never mind.
So we
Not gonna happen.
All right.
That's like university requirement. Class project, we do group.
yeah.
Graduate project, individual.
Yeah. So even though you do the project as a group, you should have a individual project proposal, individual project report. And later on, you can combine all together. But everything should be done individually, and everything will be graded individually.
Got it, all right.
Yeah, could be like, it happened, yeah, like Dr. Joe mentioned, if it's a huge project, 3 people, you do this part, you do this part, you do this part. But that must be, each proposal must clearly
Define.
specify what you do. So you do your demo, you do your part.
Right.
And you can't say, okay, we're gonna, all do together, the three
I got it.
subsystem?
I got
No, you do yours.
Okay.
You can combine 10 projects to sell this project finally with the company name of MSE. That's fine,
okay.
but for the graded project, you should have individual, the project proposal and the individual project report. Yes.
Got it.
Yes.
By any chance, do you provide like the example of the good projects report?
Yes, we can. We can do it. Yeah. So yeah, we can provide the example. So we will ask approval from the student first, and then yeah, we can show the example. Yes, definitely. Actually, in my web page, there is an example. So I can link. So you don't need to worry. Yes, yeah,
My
question.
project, I said that I would be doing a demo every 4 weeks
Okay,
like a customer basically.
okay.
And what if they just don't like what I'm making? Can I change it, or do I have to follow the exact features that I specified?
Okay, so you promise to provide a demonstration every month
Yeah.
in your proposal.
Yeah.
So do you have to do it? In principle, yes, you have to do it because you promised in your proposal.
No, but
But you can negotiate with the new instructor and ask the new instructor in which way you can modify this. So based on your discussion, you can decide.
okay,
Okay.
gotcha. Okay.
So you may demonstrate every week if you like, or you can demonstrate just once. So it depending on the type of your project. If your project is like this, I more emphasize on process, like agile method. I like to show how to apply my agile method. So I should have some kind of feedback from the customer every week, and then I will show how to improve my work in this way. If your project works in this way, you should do demonstration every week, as you promised, because your characteristic of your project is like that.
Yeah.
You more emphasize on the process, how your work is improved by this demonstration and the feedback. So you should do this. Otherwise, probably you don't need to do that kind of things. You may just assume you perform this demonstration to your virtual customer or your friend, whoever, and then you show how to improve it.
Okay.
So it depends on the project. Again, if you emphasize on the progress of your work, and then you should do it.
Okay.
So it depends on the type of project. Same thing here in the proposal, you say, I like to focus on the architectural design, and then in the final report, I cannot see anything very serious architectural design there, then you didn't do well. Okay? But almost all projects don't need to have that serious architectural design because you didn't promise it. You emphasize on more testing for your project. For example, then you should have more contents for testing you promised. So it is very flexible, but also we should follow all the regulations here. Okay, so the requirement is this: you should submit proposal. It should be approved formally, and then you should do your graded project based on your proposal. That's the way how we do for the graded project in the computer science department in general. So we must follow this. And that's the way we are approved to have a graded project course in this way by the graded office. So we should follow what we promised to the university. Any other questions? So if you have any questions, come up with any questions for the project, send me an email, and then I will forward it to the instructor for the next graded project. I think I may teach, but who knows if resource is changing, then probably somebody else will teach. So, okay? Any questions? Yes.
This is off topic, but there was an email that was sent out for graduation check. Does that apply to?
Oh, grade check, yes, we will talk about it. So we finished talking about this course, grade project,